Hello, everyone. Welcome in YouTube land. Welcome in Facebook land. This is your neighborhood-friendly PRE, Mr. Justin Hamza Tyler. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? That's a big question. It's a Tuesday, and in the Middle East, it's Hump Day, right? So this is the day that hopefully everyone is getting over the hump, right? We're almost at the end of Tuesday, going in almost to the weekend. So again, my name is Mr. Justin Hamza Tyler from GEMS American Academy Qatar. All right. And I am here to help you learn more about our elementary program, but specifically our early years program. So I have some friends with me today on the screen, from a couple of principals to some teachers and team leads that could talk to you a little bit more about our early years program for pre-K and KG1 and give you a little bit more perspective in terms of what we do and how we do it well. So without further ado, the first person I want to introduce is Mr. Jordan Scheer. He is the elementary principal for GEMS American Academy. He looks over and supervises pre-K to grade 5. So Mr. Jordan, can you introduce yourself today?
Sure. Thanks, Justin. Again, my name is Jordan Scheer. This is my third year at GEMS American. I am originally from New Jersey in the USA, but I've been abroad for 14 years now. Worked across different countries around the world, and most recently here in Qatar. I am extremely proud of the program that we have for our early years learners. I think it's unique in a lot of ways, and I think it's one of the things that really makes our school stand out, not only amongst other American curriculum schools, but amongst all schools here in Qatar. So I'm very excited to share what we do with all of you.
Thanks so much, Jordan. Appreciate that. And we also have to mention Miss Amber Rigdon. She's the assistant principal of our elementary program. So Miss Amber, can you introduce yourself as well?
Hello, everybody. My name is Amber. I'm originally from Georgia in the U.S., but I have bounced around a bit. I've worked in a few different states in the U.S. and then Singapore, Hong Kong, and now here. And as Jordan said, we're very excited to be able to talk to you a little bit about our early years today.
All right. Thank you so much. And then we also have the individuals who are in the classroom making the magic happen with the students, right? With our little raptors. And by the way, the raptors are our logo, right? They're our, I guess, mascot, if you will. And not like the Toronto Raptors, like the dinosaur, but like the raptors who are in the air. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit of difference. But we have two of our finest teachers and educators for the early years program. So first, let's go with Miss Ruchana. Miss Ruchana, can you introduce yourself today?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm the pre-K team lead. I've been living in Doha for about 4 years, and I'm specifically been working in early years for the longest time. I really enjoy working with the little ones, and I hope to see them grow, and I can't wait to meet all of your little ones. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Miss Candice, can you introduce yourself today to the people in the audience?
Okay, hello everybody. My name's Candice. I'm originally from South Africa. I've worked in the UK and in China and now here in Qatar. I've been with the GEMS family now for 2 years. It's been a great 2 years. And I'm the KG1 lead. I don't know if I said that already, but I'm looking forward to meeting you all and answering your questions.
Yes. Thank you so much. So I do have to also say this, everyone. For some reason, Facebook and YouTube have not connected to this live, right? So it's going to be recorded. And just for everyone who's looking at it on the replay, just letting you know there were some technical difficulties, not sure why it's not connected, but the replay will still show everything, all right? So you'll see it as we go through along, but I just want to let everyone know in case they were wondering, because we won't have any feedback for the rest of the show, all right? But we'll post it. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube, just like everything, okay? So we'll post it out there. All right, so wanted to make sure I made that announcement. In terms of the announcements, in terms of what's coming up, just to let you know, this live stream is a part of what event that we're going to have next week, which is the Play and Stay event. So the purpose of this live stream was to educate everyone on our early years program. And so you can register with confidence to our event next week on March 12th at 11:30 to 12:30. This is our Play and Stay program. And in this event, you have a chance to come hear from the principals as well as get a tour from us and myself. We'll walk you through the facilities of our early years program. And then while you're doing that, the kids will be in a room with other kids of their age, and they will be assessed by one of our assessment teachers. And then you'll be able to receive some type of assessment results within 24 hours or 48 hours, okay? And so that's the premise of the event on Tuesday, March 12th. And here you'll get a lot of information. So when you come in on the 12th, you'll be more than well-versed, more than versed than you needed to be on our early years program. And you can still ask additional questions and see our wonderful campus at the same time, all right? And so that's the one announcement that I have. The other announcement that I have is that if you're looking at this stream now, you want to make sure you like, subscribe, and the biggest thing that you can do for us is share it to families who are looking for a new home next year. So there could be some families out there in your social circles, in your family circles, your friend circles who are looking for a new pre-K, KG1, KG2 home. And so hopefully that you can share this link to them so they can actually see this video and be able to make an informed decision and actually even register for our March 12th event, or even come down and book a personalized tour with us at some point as well. So hopefully that is the case. So without further ado, I want to be able to introduce the premise of why we're here today, okay? And so we are here today because I have several questions for my friends, and I really want to educate everyone about what we do in early years. So you're going to see the screen change. It says early years approach. So I'll start with Mr. Jordan on this one. When we're looking at the early years approach in our school and the differences to other programs around the country, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? And then once Jordan's done, everyone can also chime in as well to add your thoughts to that same premise and question. So Mr. Jordan, can you answer that for us today?
Sure. I think the big difference is us, we use a program called the Creative Curriculum. It's an education and research-based program. It's been around for quite a long time. And I think one of the things that makes it stand out is that it is play-based in nature. It believes in the holistic child. It believes in allowing children to develop at their own pace. The elements of academics are introduced, but again, it centers around allowing 3- and 4-year-old children to be 3- and 4-year-old children. The phrase I like to use is that at this age, they're still learning how to be people. And the whole idea of learning the basics of reading, writing, mathematics, those things will come. But we're teaching them life skills at this age. We're teaching them how to follow directions, how to make friendships, how to follow a schedule and go through their day, how to use the restroom independently, how to eat their lunch independently, how to clean up after themselves. These are key pieces, key skills that kids need to be successful as they get older. And so what our program does is it puts the value and the importance on things like that so that we can make sure that they're well prepared as they grow up. The year is structured around what we call high interest units. Learning does take place. It's not that we're just doing play all day. And what we do is we select units that are prevalent in the kids' everyday lives. Units such as bread, clothing, sand, water, wheels, buildings. These are concepts that the kids know a lot about already, but that they're interested in. They want to know more. What we do is we use these concepts as the driving force behind a lot of the activities and learning that they do during their day. We bring in guest speakers and parents. We go on field trips. We have what we call WOW experiences, where the kids can do things that will stick with them for a long time. The idea is that they are excited about school. They're excited about learning. They are getting used to this kind of environment, and yet at the same time doing things that are age level and developmentally appropriate for them. Okay. So I'll turn it over to anybody else who wants to tack on to what I just said.
We have a shy group today. All right, Miss Candice, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, within the studies as well, we do a lot of project-based learning. So the children really get an opportunity to take ownership of their learning as well, because they can direct where certain projects are going as well, as well with the celebrations and the WOW experiences. The children are encouraged to share ideas. So when we have those special events, they know that they thought of it. It was their idea. So they enjoy it even more.
And then just to add on to that, a lot of the learning that we do on the creative curriculum is very open-ended. It really encourages the children's interests and gives them that, that independence that they can do the things that, are within their skill set. But then at the same time, the nice thing about the curriculum is that it has a family integration. So we're able to involve parents in our learning. We have these things called classroom visits where parents can come into the school and engage with some of our activities. We have, like Jordan said, we have WOW experiences where we try celebrate the children's learning at the end of the unit, and they help us to plan that event based on what they want to happen at that event. And then at the same time, we could talk for ages about the creative curriculum because it's so amazing. But we do have various literacy programs that are integrated in the curriculum and maths. But we can get into that later based off what Justin would like to find out more about our curriculum.
Right. I mean, I kind of want to take this time to be honest with you and actually celebrate you all, because you guys are too humble. I heard something in the grapevine about this Creative Curriculum Ambassador School and how we've been recognized for that. And so I need to let the public know about that. And I'm going to put it on the screen. We are a Creative Curriculum Ambassador School. So can someone tell me what that means so we can let the audience know why this is so important and why this is a safe space for, progressing the learners, the early learners in our curriculum?
Okay. I guess I can take that. So being an ambassador school we were selected to be one of 3 schools outside the United States that are essentially role model schools. We've developed a close relationship with the company that produces the creative curriculum, and they visited our school. At the end of their visit, they were so impressed by the dedication and passion of our teachers, as well as how we were using the program, that they asked us if we would be willing in entering into a long-term partnership with the company and being designated as a creative curriculum ambassador school. What this does and how this benefits you and your kids is that it gives us access to a very high level of ongoing training for our teachers. It gives us access to a wealth of resources online and in print that we can use to further your kids' education. And it means that we have a designated member of the creative curriculum team that is always on call to answer our questions and work with us as we continue to develop the program. While we are proud of the way that we use the program now, we are not satisfied with how we use the program. We want to learn more. We want to do better with it. We're always looking to improve. We feel that the best teachers are ones that model learning to their students. And so we are always interested in how to improve ourselves so that we can help your kids improve. And so that really is kind of the main driving force behind being an ambassador school, is that it allows us to constantly improve our own practices and program to help your kids learn better.
Yeah. Thank you for explaining that, Jordan. I just want to be able to make sure that people in the audience understand why that is so important. And you all should be proud, honestly. Myself, I do the marketing and social media. I like these type of stories because I know the hard work that you all put in. And I know the dedication that our parents have with their students and the trust that they have. And, it shows. And I'm glad that you're finally getting that recognition. And we're still going to improve, right? There's like a positive discontent. Like, we're positive about it, but we're still discontent that we could do better. We know we can do a lot more. So it's amazing, though. And just to be in a rare class like that is outstanding. And I had the pleasure to actually interview Susanna, who came to our school. And she shed more light on why it's important in our collaboration. And so if you want to go see that, it's on our Instagram page and also on our Facebook page as well. All right. So you can actually see the 3-minute, video that we have up there. And she answered 3 of the biggest questions about the creative curriculum and what we're going to do as a partnership in the future. So it's really interesting stuff. All right. So cool. We got one question down, everyone. And so I wonder who I'm going to pick for this one. Right. So we talk a lot about triangular relationships between parents, teachers, and students. And We are definitely known for our customer service, I would say. We definitely rank very high when it comes to parent satisfaction rating. We use the Net Promoter Score, or what is called NPS, and we always have 1 or 2 surveys per year that let us know how we're doing, and the parents fill out those surveys. And also from an accreditation standpoint, parents fill out surveys and let us know how we're doing as well. And so we build ourselves on feedback. And if you're looking at the screen right now, my title has parent inside of it, right? So this is very important. So when we're looking at the relationship, we know it's just not teacher alone who determines the outcome of the student. We need the parents, we need the teachers, we need the students all involved. So I'm gonna go to Amber on this one, our assistant principal, and I want her to explain how does that triangular relationship work and to produce the best outcome for our students in the school.
I think it's similar to what Jordan and Ruchana mentioned. A lot of it has to do with the WOW experiences, because we invite the families in for those. And we also ensure that our students are checking out other parts of the school, whether it's the garden at the school here or going outside to the field for different events. But students are seeing that their learning can extend to the world outside of them. It's not just in school. But we bring parents in for parent-teacher conferences. We bring them in for the different experiences. We bring them in to show students how to garden, to show students how to bake different things. And so it's exciting for the students to see their parents engaging in the classroom. It makes the families get excited about learning. It helps the students get excited about learning. And then it also increases their learning, because parents then know how to extend that at home, and then whenever they're doing their own family trips or family adventures in the afternoons or on the weekends.
And then from a teacher perspective, how does that work when you're working with the parents and you're communicating with them on Class Dojo? You're inviting them in for the end of unit celebrations and things of that nature. How do we integrate our parents into what we're doing, and so they're aware of what their child is doing in the classroom?
Yeah, we have Class Dojo, as you mentioned. There's also a way to communicate with parents. Earlier, when you asked what makes our program unique, one of the things to me that makes it super unique is the data. Our students don't realize how much data the teachers are collecting because they feel like they're playing, but our teachers are constantly collecting data. I noticed Candice was outside today and students were kicking the balls, and Candice had her clipboard with her. So it's even noticing the physical development of students. And our teachers are able to communicate that with parents. It's where are they socially? Where are they physically? Where are they with math, with literacy? And the whole time students think they're playing. But our reports that we send home to parents and the conferences that our teachers are able to have with the parents are so specific and geared to each child because of the amount of data that we're able to get every day for these kids. And then the learning experiences are tailored to students based off of that data. So there's an intentional teaching card that the teachers use with the students based on that specific data and what that one particular child needs. And so that's also wonderful for the parents to hear and for the teachers to be able to communicate with the parents so that they know the next step for each individual child. Because in the early years age, you have such a range of abilities and skills that students come in with.
That's information. That's insightful. That's illuminating. I appreciate that answer as well. And from my perspective, I think one of the reasons why parents like our school and continue to come to our school each year is because of the level of support that we give to the students and allowing the students to be who they are. And we're just teaching them. We're not here in the business to change students' behavior in terms of like their personality, innately who they are. Our teachers do a really good job of redirecting any type of behavior that may be deemed negative or things of that nature. And we work with the students. We're patient with the students. And this is what I've seen because I do the tours of the school. And I'm very impressed by the nature of our patients and the teachers. And then the students are willing to come to school because in this curriculum, it's a lot of interest-based centers that they go to as well. So they can choose what they want to do. And the teachers will build many lessons around them or just guide their lesson or make something out of it or just let them play. And they interject as needed. And so I think it's a really awesome curriculum. To the naked eye, it looks like they're playing, and they are, but there's also learning going on at the same time. So it's pretty awesome. All right. Any, from a teacher perspective, from Candice, Ruchana, anything you want to say about the triangular relationship before we move on to the next topic?
So recently, pre-K, because I'm in pre-K, we had 2 parents come in this week. We got them involved in some of our units that we were doing. So at the moment, we're learning all about water. And one of the investigative questions that we have in this unit specifically was, how do you use water to cook with? And a lot of the times, from what the children's understanding was based on, for that week, they understood that water can be used in everyday life. And to extend that learning, we thought, okay, let's try take it to the kitchen. How do you use water at home? And a lot of them said, well, we use water to brush our teeth, to wash our face. So the understanding was there. So then we thought, okay, why don't we, have a parent come and demonstrate that, bring the real life from home to school. And it was quite amazing. We had one parent, she came to make lemonade with us, and it was really fun. She read a story to them, and we helped her to set up the activity. And it was just nice to build that relationship with the mom. And after we had finished making the lemonade, the children kept asking, when is Yada's mom coming back in? And it was just really nice to have that parent involvement, because that not only, strengthens the relationship with mom and teacher, but also with daughter. And even in that activity, when I was helping with the activity, I was assessing the children. I was getting so much data just from that activity. So it was really amazing to have that bond with the mom. And she actually told me she wishes that she could be a teacher at the school. So that was really amazing as well. So that's just a little bit about how we, get the parents involved from the teaching side of things.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love stories like this because it makes it personal. Like, you can actually, it's a tangible experience. So appreciate you sharing that story. All right. So on to our next question. How to know when your child is school ready? This is actually a really important question because you have a lot of students who parents are thinking about taking them from the nursery into the big school, right? That's a huge thing, right? Huge transition. And then you have some who are saying, well, is my child potty trained? That's a huge endeavor, right? Before actually starting a school. And that's one of the criteria for pre-K, that child has to be potty trained. So you have to think about, okay, are they going to be ready? I took this tour in December, but I have to project that by August, they'll be ready to be potty trained, right? So there's a lot of different questions. So can someone help me answer this question? How do we know, or how should a parent know when their child is actually school ready, or ready for pre-K, ready for KG1?
Yeah, I can take that one to start with. So there's a few things we look at. I think the simplest answer is there is no simple answer. We look at a lot of different things. On one hand, there are some very clear yes or no answers. As Justin already mentioned, potty training. We are a school. We are not a daycare. We require all of our students to be fully potty trained before they begin. No diapers, no nannies. We do recognize that young kids are young kids. They will make mistakes. There will be accidents. This is a fact of growing up. And we do take those things into account. But we may come to a point, if there's a number of accidents, we might ask you to take a break from school for a little while. That's just part of the process. In terms of academics, we get that question a lot. My kid's not ready to read yet. Is that okay? Absolutely. That's perfectly okay. Again, we are a play-based curriculum at this age. So if the student's not quite ready to read yet, that's fine. We assess all students individually on a holistic basis. We look at the whole child. And we look at things like, do they separate well from their parents? Do they answer simple questions? Do they, what is their basics? What is their level of knowledge about basic things, colors, shapes? Can they identify simple objects in the classroom? If there's another child around, are they playing with that child or are they playing next to that child? We look at things like that. You'll notice that I'm not really stressing anything academic. We're not looking at whether they know their letters and numbers. It's not really part of our program. So all those things go into account. We do look at things like students that have additional special needs. Again, I get asked the question all the time, do you accept students that have special needs? Yes, we do. Do we accept all students with special needs? No, we don't. There is a certain point that we look at a child and say, can we meet the needs of that child? Are they someone that's going to be successful here? And that really, at the end of the day, that really is the most important question is, will that child be successful at our school? And we look at a whole range of factors to determine what the answer to that question is. And then we make a decision about whether to let your child in. I can say that we do accept most students who apply, especially at this age, because we recognize that the kids are developing at different speeds. But yeah, we do look at a lot of factors.
What else from a teacher perspective, Ruchana, Candice? I actually have a specific question for you about the readiness. What if a child can't speak English in pre-K or KG1? What do we do? Are we saying they can't come to our school? Do we still assess them? Right? So what is that process like, if you can enlighten the audience?
So I'm speaking from a pre-K perspective, just because the children, and we know that when they're homes, they're speaking their home language, which is completely normal, and we understand that. I am fortunate enough to be part of the assessment team, so I do help to assess children when they want to come to school. And a lot of the times when I am assessing, I do, take into account that, English is not their first language, and we understand that. And to sort of cater for those children, we do a lot of vocabulary sort of integration, and the curriculum is very big on literacy. So even though children aren't able to speak English, we support them and we guide them through visuals and gestures. And we have different sort of integrated programs in the curriculum that will facilitate, that transition to learn English. And, learning a different language takes time. I have a student, for example, she started in the beginning of the year with no English. Mom and dad informed me that they only speak Arabic at home. And I said, that's okay. And I understand that is the language that you want to teach your child, because, that's what we speak at home. And a lot of the times parents will send their children to school to sort of expose them to another language. And even as an adult, learning a new language, it takes time and it's really hard. So we do take those things into account, and we support the children through a lot of, read alouds. We do a lot of writing activities. We do a lot of play-based. During the play-based learning is when the vocabulary and the language comes out to support the children. And that student that I was referring back to, she started with no English, and through a lot of gestures, through a lot of, playing with her and just using visual cards and things, she's now able to tell me things that she wasn't able to in the beginning of the year. Like today, she told me, she said a very big English word that I had not taught her, and I was kind of just taken by surprise. And it made me feel really proud that she's, absorbing all the, vocabulary that she has in her environment. And part of the creative curriculum, how we sort of structure our environment sort of facilitates that and supports the children in that. So with, the creative curriculum ambassador, that we're the ambassador school, we get that support to make sure that our environments are up to fidelity, so that we can, support EAL learners, which we do. So if your child cannot speak English, it's okay. We understand that. And we, we'll be there to support. So I hope that answers your question and, everyone's questions that are watching the live stream as well.
Yeah. It's a very good answer, because that's a question I get a lot. It's American school. I'm nervous that my child doesn't speak English. And I always say to the families, your language is also a part of your culture and your heritage. Don't discontinue that. They're going to speak a lot of English in school. And I've seen kids, I've been here for almost 7 years. I've seen kids who come in pre-K. By the time they're in KG2, at the end of KG2, they're yapping. They're talking. There's a lot. You wouldn't even recognize them 2 years ago when they first came in. So I think the teachers
Justin, if I could touch on that really quickly, just to go even beyond the bounds of early years, we admit students at all the way through 5th grade that have little to no English. Depending on the age of the child, they'll receive different levels of additional support. We actually believe that at pre-K, KG1, and even KG2 age, we don't give additional support for learning English. At that age, the kids are essentially sponges. They will soak up language so fast that they can learn language much quicker than an adult can. And so we don't feel that it's age appropriate to be offering them special classes in English acquisition. They will learn it from their friends, from their teachers, from watching TV and YouTube, from just being around. They will pick up that extra language very, very quickly. Typically, if a student starts in August or September, by the time November comes around, they're able to communicate in English already. And again, we let kids in all the way up through, just last year, we had a couple students in grade 5 enter that did not speak a word of English, and we admitted them because we believe that, again, we can meet those children's needs. So it is not something to worry about. We are a school that represents 80 nationalities from around the world. Working with students whose first language is not English is just part of who we are and what we do.
And then to also, I'm going to extend off of what you said, Jordan, as well. We also have an SST team, or a student support team, that also helps with English acquisition, right? Or EAL, ESL, all the other acronyms that are in the English as a second language, right? They help out with this process as well. So not only are the teachers involved in this, the principals support it, but there's also personnel that also can help assist in the classroom and outside the classroom as well. So it's a very supportive, second language program. And the curriculum itself, Miss Amber, if I'm not mistaken, the curriculum that you brought in or helped bring in focuses on helping our English language learners. It's more ELL friendly. So can you expand on that a little bit as well?
The program for KG2 through grade 5?
Yes.
So Benchmark, one of the things it does is it has vocabulary specific for each unit. Across the school, every grade level K through 5 will be studying the same theme or the same topic. So while pre-K and KG1 are studying a theme, you've also got KG2 through grade 5 studying a common theme, which is nice because then if you have a child in kindergarten, grade 3 and grade 5, you can have the same type of conversations when they come home. But each unit has vocabulary that is specific to it. And the units will rotate and alternate. So you'll have a literacy unit, you'll have a science unit, you'll have a social studies unit, and then you go back to literacy again. But with the science and social studies units, it's nice because that vocabulary is academic vocabulary that students need to be successful with science standards and with social studies standards. So they're being exposed to it while they're doing their reading, while they're doing their writing, while they're doing their phonics. And then they can use that when they come across to study science and to study social studies. And then at home, the parents can have these conversations using that vocabulary. So it's being built all day long and at home as well.
Important information. This is why we're having this live stream. It's important information. So the thing is, some people may say, why are we extending into, KG2 to grade 5? We're just letting you know that, once you're here, there's a plan all the way through elementary. It's not just isolated for pre-K and KG1, right? Everything is a continuum in our school. And we have a plan for each step. That's why we're, talking about the extension of the ELL program and what we do to support. So thanks everyone for answering that question. We're almost at the end. We have 2 more major questions before we're done the recording. All right. So let's move on to the next one. What is the American curriculum and how does it benefit your child? So this is a question I get all the time. What's the difference, Mr. Tyler, between the British curriculum, the American curriculum, IB, CBSE? I get all this question all the time. So I think it's important to kind of, quell the myth of maybe what curriculum is better for children of this age of pre-K KG1. Is there a difference? Is there not a difference? Or the difference is actually in upper elementary versus lower elementary. What is the American curriculum anyway? So there's a lot of ways to attack this question. So I have to go to the chief himself, Mr. Jordan Scheer, the principal, to kind of first set the tone, right? And I'm actually curious to also hear from both Candice and Ruchana as well, because they are teaching it. And what does it mean to them, right? So first, Mr. Jordan, can you go talk about this very nuanced question and bring some light as best as you can? So,
sure. So first, I think one of the important things that a school should be is clear on our identity and who we are. And so I want to make sure that everyone understands what we are as a school, what program we offer. One of the questions I get asked a lot, I get to ask the same questions that Justin just mentioned. And then it was, are you IB as well? So we are not IB. We consider ourselves to be a very, very strong example of a classic American Common Core curriculum. That curriculum begins in KG2 and works its way all the way up through into the secondary school, where we switch into an AP curriculum. AP is roughly equivalent, it's the American equivalent of the IB diploma program. So that's who we are from KG2 up. Now, pre-K and KG1, as we've already said, is not an academic program per se. It's the creative curriculum. Now, it leads into the American curriculum. One of the main differences between us and, say, a British school is that we begin our core academic program a little later than a British school would. For us, KG2, which is the equivalent to the British year one, that is kind of the second year. They would begin their academic program in what they call FS1, the Foundation Standards year. Oh, hold on one second. My own KG1 child is coming to say hi right now. So I'm going to have a special guest on. Yeah, wave hi, Avery.
Hi. Hey, Avery. Say hi to the world. Good to see you.
Look. These are
Listen, I love it. It's the randomness of the day. And it's a wonderful experience to see dad and daughter right on screen like this. So, Mr. Jordan, don't be surprised or feel embarrassed or flushed with joy. Like, it's a great thing, right? So you can carry on, Mr. Jordan, if you're ready to go.
That was not planned, although she does normally pop by about this time every day to say hello. I do have the benefit of being not only the principal here, but I have a daughter in Ms. Candice's class, actually. And so I get to see this program from both sides, which has been a pretty unique experience. No, as I was saying, we believe that, again, kids at that age deserve the chance to be kids and develop at their own speed. We're not forcing things on them at this age. So while some kids are ready for some of the academics in KG1, it is not a mandatory part of the program. And I think that's really probably the biggest difference between us and a British curriculum school at this age, is that we let them ease into it. By the time they get to KG2, which is the beginning of our true academic program, most students are ready to learn those foundations of literacy and mathematics and science and social studies. But at this age, we just believe in giving them a bit more time. In terms of the question of which one is better, honestly, I spent my entire life in an American curriculum school. I'm a little biased towards American curriculum, but I also recognize that it really is the decision that your family needs to make. You need to look at your family, where you're going to be in 2 years, 5 years from now, what your plan is as a family, and what curriculum would work for you, depending on where you see yourselves being. It's a big question. It's a hard question to answer, but it's important when you start enrolling your kids in school and looking at different programs. So that's my take on it. I'll turn things over to Ms. Candice and Ms. Ruchana now.
Okay, so from a KG1 perspective, I'm not going to compare the British and American curriculum. I'm just going to speak about what we do here. And, we meet every child at their level. Some children are ready to learn sounds. Some children are ready to write, but some children aren't. And they need to work on fine motor skills and building up their muscles so that they are able to, when they go to KG2, they're ready to write and they're ready to learn phonics, etc. We do small group activities with the children. So once a day, we will split the children up into small groups, and then we will have designated activities that we do with them. These are called intentional teaching cards, and they are based on different aspects of the curriculum. A lot of the time, the physical ones will be when we have our outdoor time, and then we'll have social emotional, literacy, and math. So, we meet all the children where they are. So even on the intentional teaching card, it's guided as well. It helps us to extend children that need to be extended, and then support children that are needing more support. Yeah. I think that's all I have to say.
She does a great job, by the way, everyone. When I come into her classroom and bother her and bring families in, she does a fantastic job of really explaining this as well. And even today, I was in her class, and she modeled the differentiation that happens in the class. So she just spoke about how we meet children at their level. Miss Candice was literally working with the student independently, and there was a teaching assistant in the class, because each of our early years classroom also has a teaching assistant, right? And there was another helper in the class as well, working with the students in their different learning centers. And so again, there's always going to be some students at the lowest level, the middle, and also there's some high learners and achievers. And it's our job in American curriculum to meet them where they are and to progress them forward. And part of their assessment that they're going to take is so we know exactly where they are, so we can benchmark that and to have a projection of where they should be when they finish pre-K, when they should finish KG1. So they're ready for KG2, which is the first real year of intensive academics, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm not a teacher in the classroom, but I do understand it. The little disclosure, my wife is a teacher. She's a British teacher, all right, for the British curriculum. So I do know a little bit about both as well. But Ms. Candice, excellent job today. I'll have to interject and say that. Excellent job. Ms. Ruchana, do you have? Yes.
Can I just
Yes.
add one more thing? Sorry.
Yes.
And also within the classroom, the different centers, you might, as a parent, when you come on a tour, look at a library area and just see books. But there's a lot of other things that go into it. There's numbers, there's different activities that are put into each center. So children are interacting with, letters, phonics, different types of math, natural science, etc. There's lots of different things that are integrated into each area that maybe to the naked eye you wouldn't necessarily see immediately, but when the children start interacting and using the different resources that are available, you can actually see how much learning takes place. Sorry.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Ms. Ruchana, the spotlight is on you. What do you think about this question?
So I'm fortunate to have been able to work on both curriculums. So I do sort of have a perspective and would say an opinion on both. I am in favor for both curriculums. And both of them are quite different. I'm enjoying the creative curriculum, but I also enjoy the EYFS curriculum. However, as a parent, when you sort of comparing the two, like Jordan said, you have to take into account, what do you want for your child? What kind of environment do you want for them? What kind of skills do you want them to develop in that environment? And, each environment is different. But just like any early years curriculum, the creative curriculum is play-based learning. And like Candice was saying, we have these interest areas in the classroom that sort of touch on, specific subjects, if you will say, that, we focus on. And like Candice was saying, to the naked eye, you won't be able to, you would just look at a block area and think, okay, the kids are just building Legos, they're just building a tower. But there are specific, visual cards that we put out, specific toys that we put out that sort of, would reach that objective that we're trying to get the kids to understand. Like in my block area, I have these beatbots, and those are helping with coding. Teachers exposes children how to code at such a young age. I have some, little people in my little dollhouse that children can integrate with and can pretend to sort of create a scenario or story. And even just in that role play, we support the children with language instruction, we support them with maths. Children are learning how to compare sizes. They're learning, a half and a whole in a block area. Like they are doing a lot of, they're developing a lot of skills in these interest areas. And just for just so that you know a little bit more about the difference between the different curriculums, the British curriculum is very structured. And it's just structured in a different way compared to the creative curriculum. Both curriculums are great. It just depends on your preference. If, like going to a store and choosing, what drink do you like? It's based on your preference. But both curriculums are similar in the sense that we have large group where children are on the carpet, and we are focusing on a specific objective for that day. It could be maths, it could be literacy. it could be all three things. Fortunate enough, the creative curriculum does touch on all three of those things. For example, we'll start off with the question of the day. How do we use water at home? We get the children to draw on their prior knowledge. Then we'll move over to a Mighty Minute. And a Mighty Minute is it's a little song that we sing, or it's a little game that we play with the kids that touch on that social and emotional. Are they confident enough to join in? Are they able to count? Are they able to, maintain concentration during that activity? Then from the song, we move over into the actual lesson. A really fun lesson that I did this week was teaching children about the water cycle. We spoke about what is evaporation. And like Candice said earlier, our curriculum is very project-based. We do a lot of investigation. It's very science-heavy. And in saying that, we focus a lot on literacy and maths. Like it's very heavy in the curriculum. It just doesn't look like it from face value, but if you sit in and join in with our lessons, you will be able to see that. We take the children outside, we engage with the real world. So sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but if I were to say which curriculum is the best, I would say both curriculums are the best. It's just that in the creative curriculum and from pre-K to KG2, we give children that extra year to develop their social and emotional skills, their fine motor skills, just giving them time to just be a child, like Jordan said. So based on, what you want for your child, I think that's a conversation that, mom and dad has to have at home. But I'm in favor for both curriculums, and I do quite frankly like the creative curriculum. I do find that it touches on different aspects compared to the EYFS curriculum. However, the EYFS curriculum is different in different ways, and so I can't really say which one is the best, but they're both really awesome.
Definitely. I didn't even think about the nature of your background, having taught both. And so that actually brings another flavor to this question as well. And this question I always have is like a trick question. There's no really right answer for what curriculum is unless it's for your child. The curriculum that suits your child the best is the best for your child. You can find pluses and minuses with any curriculum out there, right? But if your child is responding to one, that's the curriculum for them. That's kind of the way I talk to parents about it. And, at this stage, it's not, like I said, it's not much difference. Don't think that you're making the biggest decision for the rest of their lives, right? At this stage, we're all doing similar things, but I think Ruchana said it the best. We do an extra year for the social emotional learning part, the character education and development. Yeah, I think that was a really good way to put it before we actually really get into the classroom part, right? The focused, structured aspect. And that goes into the benchmark literacy program versus the creative curriculum program. So that's the difference there. Anybody else have any other thoughts on this? This is a very good question. But any other thoughts on this before we move on to the last topic?
I think one way that our curriculum benefits kids compared to the British is that students are learning inquiry skills and they're able to inquire into different areas that they're interested in. Once there's this topic presented, say water or gardening, students can kind of ask a lot more questions, and teachers are able to drive that and guide that as the students ask questions rather than having something that is very rigid and scripted. But yeah, I do think it's very interesting when you ask that question, because Ruchana and Candice both have taught British and now they're with the American system. So they are able to answer these questions very well.
I forgot about Candice teaching the British too. Ooh, okay, look, I didn't even do this on purpose. I just had these already preset. And then Jordan picked the teacher. So I said, hey, Jordan must have known something. He said, let me get the teachers here who have both of the knowledge. So, but no, it's good. And I think the last thing I'll say on this is my personal experience. I'm not a teacher, but I had an experience of what Amber just said. So we unveiled our pond a couple years ago in early years, right, in elementary. And there's a pond outside that we have, and the kids loved it. And actually the kids said they wanted the pond, right? We made it for them. We thought it would be great to beautify our campus as well. So when I'm looking at the pond, this one kid, he tugged my leg and said, Mr. Justin, he said, can a shark go in that water? I said, no. This is not salt water, my friend. This is just a fresh pond water. A shark can't go in that water. Well, why not? I said, well, sharks usually are going to be in oceans, right, where they have salt water. He said, okay, well, it's kind of hot outside. How do these plants grow? I can't even make this up. So he's inquiring, right? And the next thing I know, I have about 13 questions I probably answered for this kid. But that's the nature of our curriculum, where you can inquire. So now you know, okay, well, if that's the case, then this can't be right. If this is wrong, then this has to be right. And you can kind of draw some inferences, have some critical thinking and analysis, and hopefully I helped serve that kid some information. But I think they were in KG1 at that time. So maybe at this moment they're in grade 2. So, but it was a really good experience, and that was inquiry based right there, just from the pond being there. So cool. All right. One last question. We're actually on time as well. This is amazing. So one last thing I want to bring up, which is parent satisfaction ranking. Okay. So listen, no one on this panel but me is going to talk about, this topic the way that I'm going to talk about it, because I really focus on this a lot and I really go through every single detail, and so do our principals too. But it's actually from an excitement standpoint that I project that information out to the public, because every single year, I think GEMS has over 45 different schools around UAE and Qatar as well. So we're always ranked top 5 in parent satisfaction. We're doing something right. I don't know what it is, but we're doing something right. And parents keep coming back. We always have a great parent satisfaction rating, alhamdulillah. So I kind of want to know the secret sauce from the people who are generating that parent satisfaction rating. So what are we doing in the classroom with the students? What are we doing with our parents that is giving us this high parent satisfaction rating? So I'm going to start off with Miss Amber first, and then I want everyone else to kind of interject. What are we doing so the people on this live stream can understand it?
I think one thing we do well is build relationships. We get to know our students, which means we also get to know our families. Every student and every family has their own needs, their own interests, and what they're hoping for in school and what they're hoping for in a teacher for that year. And I think that's one thing we do really well, is getting to know each person individually, building the relationship, sustaining the relationship, so that when there's a concern or a question that a parent has, they don't feel uncomfortable coming to us. They know that they can come to any of their teachers. They can come to Jordan, they can come to me, or they can come to Justin. Like, parents feel comfortable talking to anyone because this is a welcoming place. They feel like it's home. And that also encourages students to feel a little more free and expressive while they're here as well. So I think that's one reason that our parent satisfaction rating is very high, because parents can express when they're concerned, when they're happy, and when they're happy, we know what to do more of. And when there's a concern or a question, we know, okay, let's look at this a little differently.
Here we go. So, all right, Amber, you're done. You're relieved. Jordan, I need one from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think in large part, it comes back to what we talked about earlier. It's that triangle, right? It's getting them involved and making them a part of their child's education. We reach out to parents constantly. Tomorrow we have our second round of parent-teacher conferences, and that's only the formalized ones, right? We have parents in the building all the time. Every afternoon, parents are allowed to come straight to the child's classroom to pick them up. They can interact and ask questions about how their kid's day was directly to the teacher at the end of every day. The app we use, Class Dojo, enables parents to directly message their child's teacher instantly without waiting for a response on email. That's a really useful tool. And I think a big part of it too is that the kids come home excited, right? They every morning, again, my own daughter, she wakes up every morning excited to come to school. And I think that's something that, I get laughed at sometimes when I say that one of our priorities is we want our kids to be happy coming to school, but I do view that as being very important. It's an important part, because for kids to learn, they have to be comfortable, safe, and happy. And I think all of our kids are all three of those things. They are comfortable, they are safe, and they are very happy coming to school every day.
Very good points. Very good points. Candice, give us 1 point why you think that parent satisfaction rating is pretty high in our school.
Well, I know in early years, we send a lot of photos via Class Dojo as well. So we're constantly keeping the parents up to date with what's happening in the classroom. I know we, at least once a month, will send some kind of contact to the parents about how their child's doing. inviting the parents into the school to join in with activities also helps with, keeping parents happy, because they get to come in and experience, what we do here every day, which is so powerful.
All right, cool. And Ruchana, we need one from you.
So pretty much everything that everyone said, we do, and we do it really well. And then as everyone was talking, I was just trying to reflect on how I could best answer this question. And I think a really good thing that we do at the school is family integration, and we incorporate everyone's cultures and traditions, and, like based off the curriculum and, what it focuses on, it's very family orientated. And we, in the creative curriculum, we do have a different sort of platform where we share learning. So parents are able to see what the objective is that we focused on for literacy or for maths, how their child was doing. They're able to see the real life teaching. We share videos and photos and documentation. We do that on Class Dojo as well. So there's various opportunities for parents to see and be involved in their child's learning. We send home newsletters every Thursday, so parents are up to date with the learning that's happening for next week and how they can best, prepare their child for that learning. And even just having parents come in to be a classroom visitor, helping us to make a lemonade, helping us to design a fashion show. Those are essential opportunities for our families to be involved. And a great example of that was last year when we had an amazing fashion show for KG1. We had a mom come in to make tie-dye t-shirts with the children. And we didn't think that we would have that much parents come and, join the show. And we had all of our parents join the show, and we had some of our, elementary principals join, and we had half the school come to join. So it was quite a big initiative. So when it comes to sort of parents' involvement, I think that GAAQ is doing an amazing job, and I think all of us in this room can speak towards that.
Some really good answers. Really good answers. And I actually have the stats because I look at what goes on with the parent satisfaction rate. So number one is communication. A lot of parents rave about the communication. They're getting responses. They are heard. Their students are heard. So everyone in the family feels like they're heard. And not only are you heard, but things are done if it's reasonable and it makes sense for the school and it fits the policy of the school as well. So I think parents are getting heard. And I think that's the point of our jobs here, but also mainly my job too, because I work with parents and I have to hear the complaints and I hear the good things as well. But we do a good job of at least having an office to do that. And then we have helpful ears of the principals and the teachers. And one thing I love about our school when it comes to communication is that you can always find our leadership out and about in the mornings and also at dismissal. I've been in schools 15 years. I've seen principals become keyboard warriors, but they're quiet as a mouse and you never see them. Can't get a meeting with them. Takes 4 or 5 days to do it. But literally, you can come to our school. If you need to see Mr. Jordan, he's around. He's right there in the morning. See Miss Amber, she's right there. You can check her out, talk to her. So that's a really cool thing about our school. Number two, support. We're very supportive, academically supportive, behaviorally supportive. Obviously, as we said before, the triangular relationship. And so parents feel that level of support. When other schools, they don't feel it. Or they have older siblings and they're like, well, that school never did it like, you guys do it, right? And so they have older kids who they're comparing their school experience to our school experience. And so it's really cool to hear that they feel supported. So that's number two. The last thing that I saw on the survey results are just that the kids, they notice that their kids are undergoing a transformation in their personality and in social emotional learning. And so their kid could have came to our school quiet and shy, but for some reason they felt like now 6 months later, a year later, my child is talking and expressing things, saying new words, able to share. And so they're seeing the impact of what happens in the school, and it's also happening and manifesting in the household and also being shown in the household as well. So a lot of the social emotional learning that we focus on in pre-K and KG1 also has a direct connection to how those kids are going to be for KG2 teachers, grade 1 teachers, grade 2 teachers. So that helps as well. And a lot of parents are thankful for the way that we change their personality, kids' personality in a positive way. All right. So those are the three things I saw from the data. Just wanted to back up what everyone said. And it's not just anecdotal. I actually have the stats too. All right. So we are at the end of the live stream. We are actually super on time. As I said before, I'm going to announce it. And as you're seeing it on the playback, we did have some technical difficulties with our streaming platform, but I'm going to email everyone who registered the recorded link, right, with the actual link to our next Plain Stay opportunity, which is on Tuesday, March 12th from 11:30 to 12:30. So you get a full email from me, and we're going to post it on YouTube and Facebook so you can see it in perpetuity, right? So it'll be there. We just apologize that it wasn't live as you were expecting it. But a couple of things for house business. We talked a lot about our school, and we're in the country of Qatar. We want to let you know that we have the education voucher at our school as well. So if you're looking for a school and you're a Qatari and you want your child to come to GAAQ or any other school, but for our school, I can speak for ourselves. We actually have the education voucher, and so that is about 28,000 Rial that the government will give to you, as long as you furnish some information about that you're full-time working and that you're a Qatari citizen. You'll be able to avail that 28,000 Rial. And just so you know, you can check out our fees, but the total fees for tuition for pre-K to KG2 is 35,150. But with the voucher, you'll cover the 28,000 of that. All right. So just so you can know that information as well. Number two, we have corporate discounts with a number of big companies in the country. So 10% tuition discount automatically if you come to our school, if you're an employee of the following companies: Al Jazeera, you have Aspire, you have Hamad Medical Center, Manai, Microsoft, Ministry of Public Health, Narfor, Ooredoo, Primary Healthcare Corporation or PHCC, Qatar Airways and its subsidiaries, Qatar Energy and many of its subsidiaries, Qatar Foundation, and also Sidra. Any of these companies that you work for and you're looking for a new school home, if you come to our school, automatically, because you work at these companies and we have great corporate relationships with them, you'll be able to avail yourself of 10% tuition discount for your students. So keep that in mind as well. The last thing I want to say, we also have another discount structure when you become a family here at GAAQ. At any given time, if you want to refer a family to our school, on our website, we actually have a referral link. You can easily put their information in. And if that family has a student that actually goes to our school, registers, and goes to the first term of the school year, you'll get 4% discount for tuition. So if you have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, you can figure out how to, do the 4% discount for your children. But this is unlimited. You can literally earn back your tuition if you did 25 referrals. So, literally 4% each time, but it's a way of saying thank you for referring and letting other families know about Jim's American Academy Qatar. All right. So that's a lot of information. I need a lot of water. Speaking of Ramadan's coming up as well, I'm definitely having some water after this live stream. But I'm very happy with what we accomplished today. I really appreciate everyone for being here, for my friends to take out time in their busy day to discuss our wonderful early years curriculum. Do we have any last thoughts from any of you on the panel before we close today? No. It's a long day, guys. We're going to sign off. We appreciate you. If you have any questions, I think it's appropriate for me to put my email address up there as well. This is my email address. All right. Any questions you have, I'll guide you through the tour. I can give you a Zoom meeting at your home or at your office, right? We can talk about the school, or you can check in with me about any questions you have from the live stream. I'll do my best to help you out, all right? So that's my email address now until I'm here, all right? We're signing off. Have a great day. Have a great Tuesday. We're signing off. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, guys. I hope to see some of you for the Stay and Play.